Hello darts nuts, I'm just going to review the new Winmau Steve Beaton darts. These have just come out in the Winmau 2014 collection. This is the 22g version. They're a 90% tungsten dart. It says designed by world champion Steve Beaton. So let's have a look at the darts. These are the new Adonis Grip barrels. Same as the other Winmau Beaton darts, but they just have this new coating on the barrels, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. You get a plastic case to store the darts. There's a checkout chart on the back of the inlay card. You got your point protector, your 3 darts obviously. It's got aluminium shafts. These are quite a tight fitting shaft actually. Usually you need a rubber o-ring to keep them nice and tight, but they seem to be staying tight by themselves, so must be quite deeply machined. And you've got your Steve Beaton signature standard shape flights. The only thing I would have liked to have seen is the Steve Beaton oversized pair flights. It would have been nice to try those out. I always use standard shape flights anyway, but because Steve Beaton uses the oversized pair shapes, I think I would have liked to try them just to see what they're like. I'll just fit the darts up and then I'll show you a close look of the barrel. The points have got a nail grip on as well, so it gives you a little bit more grip if you hold your finger on the point, which I usually do. Alright then, so that's the darts all set up. I'll show you a close up now. Alright, let's just have a quick close look at the Beaton darts, and then I'll put a detailed close look at the dart with all the measurements on. As you can see, the barrel is almost straight for the most part, and then it's got a slight taper on the back. There's your nailed point. It's got a rounded bull nose. Obviously the biggest difference is this bronze coloured, like it's kind of a bronzy gold coating, which is the new Adonis Grip. It has a feel like, it's a bit like a golden tie, but it kind of feels a little bit more absorbent than that. It's quite a nice feel actually. I'll probably be gripping the dart around there, which is like my normal natural grip, but this section here is micro grip, and that feels really nice there. It's probably a medium grip level on that bit. And then you've got like a standard ring style grip on the rear of the barrel. I think Steve Beaton holds these darts somewhere on the rear between the shaft and the barrel. And then you've got some gold painted rings as well, so there's a few areas what you can use as reference points depending on where you naturally grip your dart. It's got your Steve Beaton signature on the front of the barrel. It's quite a nice feel, that. I think I would have liked to have had some of the micro grip down there, but that's just me personally. I might have a few throws from there, even though it's not my natural spot for holding the dart. So I'll let you have a look at this, and then I'll put a detailed close look. As you can see, it's got the alloy shafts and the standard shape signature rhino flights. Pretty strong flight. The dart might be slightly front weighted, but I'll check that out when I look at the balance point. So here's a detailed close up now with all the measurements.
Alright then, here's the close look at the Beaton Adonis Grip 22g darts. It's got a nailed point which is 27mm long. There's a rounded bullnose section which has 4 grooves, and that's 6.1mm before it comes into the smooth section with the signature, and that's 9.6mm. And then there's another series of grooves which is about 4.9mm long, and then it comes into the micro grip section which is 8.8mm long, and then you've got a series of thin ring style grip which tapers towards the end of the barrel, and that's 12.9mm. The overall length is 43.5mm and the widest part is 6.8mm.
Alright then, I'm just going to measure the barrels and see how they compare. That first barrel is 22.03. It's almost spot on then, 22. The 03 is hundredths of a gram, so it's nothing really. That's 22.1. And that's 22.08. So 22.07. So there's really about 8 hundredths of a gram difference between the lightest and the heaviest, so it's nothing really. It's really closely matched barrels. I'll just wear the full setup. Actually, it's easier without it being fitted up. The full setup is 24.4 grams. They look as if they might be slightly front weighted to me, but because it's got that little bit of a taper as it goes towards the rear of the barrel. It's 43.5mm in length. It's shorter than it looks actually. Just make sure that's correct. This should be the widest part along the front, 6.85mm, and then it gets a little bit thinner on the micro grip, 6.8, and then it tapers 6.2, 6.3 towards the rear. See if I can find the balance point without anything attached. I should imagine it's going to be just front of the centre. Yeah, it's just slightly front weighted, I would say. So with the shaft and the flights on, it's probably going to move to the centre, as you would expect. Yeah, I'd say it's just about centre. Alright then, that's your look at the Steve Beaton Adonis Grip 22g. So let's give them a throw and see how they go. Alright then, I'm just going to have a few throws with the new Winmau 22g Steve Beaton Adonis Grip darts. The only thing I'm not so keen on is the nail point. It's not as grippy as you would think. I think it's because the metal is kind of making my fingers sweat, so it's just slipping off it. It's one of the reasons why I usually prefer a black point. This Adonis coating seems to get grippier as it's getting warmer. It does feel quite grippy, even though it's just a coating. You can feel like a kind of absorbent, dry feel. It's hard to describe it really, but the only thing that's put me off is my finger is slipping on the point. So that's just a little bit off-putting. I think the balance of the dart probably suit a loopy throw. I'll have a throw from this micro grip just to see what happens. It's not too bad holding it there. Just feels weird for me because it's not my natural grip. Alright, I'm just going to go back to my front grip, have a few more throws. Alright, I'm not going to play with them too much because I'm going to be giving these away in a competition on the forum, probably in the new year. I'll have a few sets of darts up for a competition. So the one feature I do like about these darts is this Adonis grip. It's really a nice coating. The one thing I don't like is the nail points. I find that I get a little bit of sweat on my finger and it just seems to slip off. They're a lovely looking dart. The balance is probably going to suit people that like to grip it just around here, I think, where this micro grip is. It feels more nicely balanced around that point. For me, gripping it on the front, it seemed a little bit dipping too much, but They're a lovely dart. So there you go, the Steve Beaton Adonis Grip, new from Winmau. That's the end of the review. Thanks for watching.